ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ So, introducing mantra 6 on page 244. यह प्रत्यगात्म ईश्वर भावेन निर्दिष्टः सह सर्वात्मा इति एतत् दर्शयति. Right? Then mantra says, यह पूर्वं तपसो जातम् अद्भ्यः पूर्वमजायत गुहां प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तम् यो भूतेभिर्व्यपश्यत एतद्वै तत्. So in the previous mantra it was said this Jivatma is and Paramatma are one and the same. Jivatma is one takes, Paramatma takes oneself to be the Jiva on account of one takes oneself to be the individual due to the identification with a given Upadhi. This Upadhi manifesting there, taking it as oneself. That's a mistake. And therefore, Paramatma is everything. And therefore, I should claim everything as by myself, and instead I claim this thing as a myself. So it's due to Ajnanam. And ultimately, everything belongs to Paramatma as such. And I can say I am that Paramatma. Therefore, I am also cause of everything. You can say that. But the thing is, due to Ajnanam of oneself, I claim this body, mind, sense complex as oneself. That's a Jiva. And he should know that this Jivatma, I am the Jiva who is a Bhokta, experiencer of various Sukha Dukkha and various objects of enjoyment, is none other than Bhuta Bhavyasya Ishanam, etc., Kalatrayasya Ishanam. I am the very timeless consciousness, etc. Brahman has to be understood. So in the mantra number 5, so Jivatma and Paramatma have been told as one and the same. And it means that the Atma, which is free from all attributes, well, alone is all names and forms, which is none other than this Pratyagatma. Or Brahman, Ishvara, with all names and forms is the Brahman. That Brahman alone is myself, because Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya. So I am the one who is timeless Brahman. That timeless Brahman alone manifests. That's a Jagat Karanam. That's a definition. Timeless manifest Brahman alone. A timeless Brahman alone manifests in the form of all the entire Jagats, all names and forms. But Brahman being myself, there is no I without Brahman. Because there is one consciousness. I happen to be. The I indicates consciousness. So there is no Brahman without I, and there is no I without Brahman, in fact. Therefore, if Brahman is Jagat Karanam, then I am also Jagat Karanam. And therefore, now that part has been explained, that I am in the various names and forms, etc., has been explained now. So, as an introduction to this mantra tells how that, mere wish, the sankalpa of Ishvara expressed through Maya, we call Hiranyagarbha, is born first. But the Brahman happens to be the firstborn, that is Hiranyagarbha. But Brahman is myself. Therefore, I am in the form of Hiranyagarbha. Could you follow what I'm saying? So that has been said. I am in the form of senses, I am in the form of sensory power, and like that. And therefore, I am the self of everything. So Sarvatma Bhava, etc. has been very, that's how Bhashyakara says, Yaha Pratyagatma Ishvara Bhavena Nirdishtaha Saha Sarvatma. This Pratyagatma is Sarvatma. Ishvara is Atma of everything, that's fine, but Ishvara is not separate from me. How do you know that? That has been told in Mantra 5, that Jivatma and Paramatma are not two separate entities, etc. So, anyway, and so, mere by Sankalpa, so Kamayat, etc., of Ishvara, well expressed through Maya, and Hiranyagarbha is born first, and from Hiranyagarbha, Virat, and from Virat, the whole creation basically is born. So Hiranyagarbha as though enters and resides in every living being in the name of what? Tejasa, right? We call Tejasa. Sukshma Sharir Abhimani Chaitanyam we call. So Tejasa. So what is obtained as a Tejasa here is none other than Hiranyagarbha, is none other than myself, right? So this is how it is. And this being a Tejasa only, I experience this Hiranyagarbha experiences all the sense objects. And therefore, in the first three quarters, the mantra describes Hiranyagarbha, and then in the end adds that the knower of Hiranyagarbha is the knower of Brahman, which means Brahman alone is in the form of Hiranyagarbha. And therefore, you can say, I am in the form of Hiranyagarbha. So, could you follow? Therefore, I am the content of everything. What obtains here is Hiranyagarbha. Not what obtains, Swamiji, what obtains is me, the seer, hearer. Oh, that is just Taijasa, but that happens to be Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, ultimately, Hiranyagarbha is myself, and therefore, I, the Pratyagatma alone, is in the form of Hiranyagarbha, obtains in all the bodies as a Taijasa, and, well, experiences Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Sagandha through the senses, which are also manifestation of Ishvara alone. So, like that, this has been said here. And here it is said, Yaha Purvam Tapaso Jatam Adbhyah Purvam Ajayat Guham Pravishya Tishtantam Yo Bhute Bihi Vyapashyata Etadvaitat Yaha Vyapashyata. He knows, this person who is a mumukshu knows that Atma is to be, Atma is born as what? Hiranyagarbha. Brahman is born. But Swamiji, Brahman is born, not Atma. Atma is Brahman. We have already seen that. Anyway, so he knows that Atma to be born as a Hiranyagarbha. When? Purvam. Purvam is Prathamam. In the beginning itself. The firstborn. Hiranyagarbha is a firstborn. How it is born? Tapasaha. Tapasaha. From the tapas of the Brahman. From the jnanam of the Brahman. Tapas means jnanam. Yaha Ajayata, who was born, again Purvam word has come. Yaha Ajayata, who was born, Purvam Adbhyaha. Even this Hiranyagarbha is born before waters, means before elements. Water is a upalakshana for all the elements. So was born before the waters. Pravishya Guham. So, and having entered the heart, Guham, having entered into the buddhi. And as he entered, the Hiranyagarbha Ishvara enters into the buddhi, becomes Taijasa. Clear? And so, and then, and Tishtantam residing there, Bhute Vihi, how he resides along with the body and the sense organs. Now, from that Hiranyagarbha is born before elements, right? And therefore, now that Hiranyagarbha obtains in the buddhi, means it has all elements are created from Hiranyagarbha, and along with the body and various senses, etc., he resides here as a Tejas, identifying with the body mind sense complex, remain as a or obtains as a Tejasa. Clear? So therefore, So this is how it is. From Brahman, Hiranyagarbha is born. What is that? I will explain you. Don't worry. From Brahman, Hiranyagarbha is born, and Hiranyagarbha from Hiranyagarbha, definitely all elements have came and have come, and from that elements, basically now Buddhi also has come, and it obtains in the Buddhi and becomes a seer, hearer, etc. And therefore, what obtains as a Taijasa Ahankara is none other than Hiranyagarbha, is none other than Brahman. Could you follow? This is how it is. And as a Hiranyagarbha, basically, I am obtaining because Sukshma Prapancha Abhimani Chaitanyam. So, with Brahman identifying with the entire Sukshma Prapancha is the Hiranyagarbha, which is nothing but in the form of knowledge. And and therefore I basically obtained in everyone's heart as Taijasa. Could you follow? So that way I am the self of everything. So you are a seer, hearer, etc., but that is nothing, none other than I, the Pratyagatma. If I say I am Swamiji here and hearing and seeing, oh, then you are identified with this given upadhi. No, no, you are Hiranyagarbha, from which all elements have come, and elementals also have come. From elements, definitely sense organs, organs of action, prana, everything came. And even gross elements also have come. And that has come from Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha has come from what? Brahman. Who is Brahman? Pratyagatma. Therefore, I am in the form of Hiranyagarbha, who obtains in the form of sense organs, etc., obtains in the form of a buddhi, antakarana, and I alone obtain in the buddhi. As what? Taijasa. As identifying with the given sukshma sharira. Could you follow? This is how it is been explained. So means you are, once you know you are Pratyagatma, you can say, I am the self of everything because ultimately I am Hiranyagarbha, Hiranyagarbha, which is in the form of a senses, which obtains as the very experiencer through the senses, etc. Which obtains even as an Antakarana. Antakarana itself is born of 5 elements, right? Subtle elements. Anyway, from the Sattva aspect. So anyway, so this is, then it becomes otherwise too much. So therefore, when too much dilution, it's come in Tattva very well. Anyway, so yaha Pratyagatma Ishvara Bhavena Nirdishta, that's how he introduces. So one that is shown by the Shruti, this Pratyagatma is Ishvara, Abhedena Nirdishta. And that is been already explained in the fifth mantra. And also that abheda between jiva and Ishvara has been shown. And there the jiva was told as a madhvadam, which is a bhokta, basically. Experiencer of a karma phala. And experience of all pleasant, unpleasant experiences. And definitely when you say I enjoy karma phala, then who gave you karma phala? In terms of pleasant, unpleasant experiences, who gave? Oh, Ishvara gave. He is a karma phala data. I am karma phala bhokta. He is karma phala data. Separate. that's a that's understanding. Because you identified with the one body mind sense complex and take yourself as individual, experiences various pleasant, unpleasant situation. And so definitely you take yourself as an individual, you definitely tell Ishvara is different from you. So you will look upon it as a karma phala data, etc. Different from you. So I basically, I mean, it is never away, but this karma phala data is never away from you. It is in the form of Jagat. It is in the form of a law, order, we can say. Even my body, etc., the individual's body also is created with the laws. The elements by which it is created is with the laws. The gross elements are created from subtle elements also with the laws, Panchikaranam, etc. All that is law, 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 order. Right? This is how the whole manifestation is. And Ishvara being the material cause of everything, definitely, Ishvara alone is obtained in the form of this Veshti Sharira. Ishvara alone obtains in the form of this subtle body also, right? There also, that sattva aspect of the all 5 elements and everything. So therefore, he is different from you, cannot be. Where is the distance? And as the buddhi, which is a manifestation of Ishvara, is created, arises, then same Ishvara, consciousness, Brahman, manifests in the buddhi as the very aham, right? And that is ahankara. Therefore, ahankara is none other than this Ishvara alone. But no, due to that, where Jiva's upadhi called ajnanam, karana sharira, he identifies, well, even though he's Brahman, he can say all, I manifest in all the buddhis as aham, I should say. Instead, I say, well, I manifest in this buddhi, identify with this buddhi. Whatever happens here in this antakarana, I say that is I. So I am recollecting, I am this, I am emoting, I am perceiving, and therefore I say I am a seer, hearer, etc. You should understand actually the seer, hearer, which obtains in every sharira. That is you. That's a sarvatma. No, I am here. Could you follow what I'm saying? So it's simply ahankara. I have to drop that. I have to drop that calling this only as I. That's it. Nothing else. Still ahankara will remain. But that ahankara will be the part of Ishvara. That ahankara manifestation will be the part of Ishvara. Mo is Ishvara, I am Ishvara, I am Hiranyagarbha, etc. So this is how it has been said. You are the everyone's I is you. The seer in everyone is you. The hearer in everyone is you, etc. Could you follow what I'm saying? If you look upon yourself as a Pratyega Atma, which is none other than Brahman, who is a Karanam for everything, then the very first manifestation of the as a Hiranyagarbha, first born Hiranyagarbha, which manifests in every body as the very Sukshma Sharira, and through Sukshma Sharira as a seer here, etc., also is none other than myself. So I am not this individual jiva here present in this body. No, no, no. I am in the form of all the jivas. So that is called Sarvatma Bhava. Could you follow? So this is what has been going to be. So individuality is within that order, that ahankar also within that order. There is a pathological order, psychological order, physiological order. Order means a law which obtains as a samashti. Obtains as a samashti. It's not that you have a separate physiology. No. Human physiology is common in all, whether it is African or whether it is is American, or and not only that, physiology in any sentient beings, living beings is same. That's how they study. It's amazing. They study they whatever the drug they discover for a particular disease, they administer first in the white mice, right, rats, etc. Why should you do there? It's for human beings, then administer here. No, 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 no. If it works there, it will work here. My God. How can you say that? Samashti, manifestation. Samashti. Therefore, the physiology which is here is a order. Order means it's a law which is common in all living beings. Therefore, and then psychological order. So human psychology is, of course, having a different psychology, but that is what is studied in psychology. And there, the person who studies psychology, he can analyze a psychology of any human being, not just American. He can understand the psychology of any human being. Even if I become his patient, well, he will not say, "Oh, well, I have not studied Indian psychology." So basically, human psychology is common. In which ways you react? What are the various things which arise in your mind? What are the causes for that, and all that? Cause, effect, action, reaction, right? All this is one and the same. And so the manifestation at a total level is Ishvara. That's what it is. If it's something manifest here itself and nowhere else, I can say this is Ahankara. This is me. Nowhere it is there. This is my manifestation. But it's nothing like that. And therefore, ultimately, this is what Kiranyagrabha is. Or in terms of order, in terms of knowledge. It is a knowledge. Cause, effect, knowledge. Action, reaction, knowledge. Physiology, knowledge. Psychology, knowledge. Right? Even cognitive order. How a human being knows a given thing through the means of knowledge given. That's whole science. Whole science we call epistemology. How knowledge takes place, and cognitive order, and how a free will comes into the picture, and all that. My God, it is common. Billions of people. I mean, the members are there in humanity. Wow. Studied in one, you can apply it everywhere. Means it is commonly available. Common manifestation, right? That's Hiranyagarbha. That's Ishvara. Hiranyagarbha means Ishvara alone. Came from what? Purvamajayata came from Brahman, the first manifestation of Brahman. You, as Hiranyagarbha, and then elements and elementals, and then manifestation in the buddhi as a ahankara, as a tejasa, right? As a sukshma sharir bhimani chaitanyam, etc. So karma phala bhokta and data, well, actually, bhokta and data both are sustained by this one truth. Yena rasam, shabdam sparsham, rupam rasam, vijanati, etc. All are sustained by whose presence. All this come to the light by whose presence. That is Sarvatma. Whether you say Ishvara Swarupa, whether you say Jiva Swarupa, it is one and the same. Could you follow what I am saying? You say Karma Phala Data, so what is the content of Karma Phala Data Ishvara? Same Brahman. What is the content of this Jiva, Ahankara? Same Brahman. Brahman being the cause of everything. So therefore, whatever the effect is, that is none other than, it's non-separate from what? Karanam. So, Saha Sarvatma Bhavati, Bhashakara says. So, the one who knows this, that I am the Pratyagatma, which is Brahman, I am Atma, Brahma, is Sarvatma. He gains a Sarvatma. And therefore, he says, this is all my manifestation in terms of elements and elementals, and I alone obtain in everyone's buddhi as the very ahankara, very I thought arises. I only manifest in every buddhi, make the buddhi conscious, which is nothing but the ahankara, and through that ahankara, subject, becoming a subject, identifying with sense organ, becomes seer, hearer, etc. But ultimately, Swamiji, what is responsible? Ena shabdam sparsham rupam rasam vijanati. That is that consciousness, limitless consciousness, Brahman. But the Brahman's first manifestation is in form of this subtle. Could you follow? Sense organs, prana, antakarana, everything. And as antakarana is formed, subtle body is there, I manifest there. I, the Brahman, manifest there. Where? All sentient beings. Order. So everyone's I. Well, it's I means one law. I see. It's a snake's eye, or it's a ant's eye, or it's a human being's eye. See. Eyes see. Law. Right? It's a law. How perception takes place, how eyes are able to see, it's a big science, my God. That's what they study. Still, it's not completely over, but they study how the seeing takes place, etc. So anyway, so Ishvara is everything, and we have to understand this tatpada, etad vaitat, or tattvamasi. That tvam jiva is none other than Ishvara, but we should understand Ishvara, not simply negating. Oh, I am consciousness, and he is also consciousness, and therefore everything is mithya. No, of course, it is a reality. It is a reality, but the better reality, I should say, is everything is non-separate from consciousness, Brahman, and therefore it is my manifestation. That gives you sarvatma bhava. That gives you freedom. Unless that sarvatma bhava won't come, you will not have that fullness in you. Just you may say, I am limitless consciousness, I am not body mind sense complex, etc. I am limitless, space exists in me, time exists in me, and they are all mithya, they cannot exist independent of me, they are all mithya, I am the truth behind everything and I am limitless. That's fine, but we have to account for what all this, right? Oh, that is all. How will account? Oh, this is creation here. How it has come about? There is a karanam for that. Who is that karana? Ishvara is a karana. Who is Ishvara? Brahman. Oh, that happens to be myself. Therefore, I am the cause of the entire creation. If I am the cause, I am the content of everything. Would you follow? So that is very beautifully said here. You alone manifest in the form of a Hiranyagarbha in all, and you become the seer and everything. This is how one has to basically do Niridhyasanam. Then you will find that being Sarvatma, there is no real division between subject object. No real division. Because you think you are this and everything is separate, right? That there is another thing. That there is another thing. that will go. That's a Dvaita Buddhi. That goes only by this Sarvatma Bhava, goes away. And that gives you freedom from fear. Could you follow? That body is also my manifestation as a Virat. That subtle body, the sense organs and organs of action, prana and antakarana and all are my manifestation as Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha alone appears as a Virat. So as a Sthula Prapancha Abhimani Chaitanyam, Brahman alone, along with the Sthula Prapancha, is a Virat. Brahman alone with the Sukshma Prapancha before that is a Hiranyagarbha. Virat also is coming. So my point is, this is how you have to see. Then you feel that there is this subject of the so-called is really, perceptually it is okay, but really both are just oneself, nothing else. Whatever is there is basically is my own manifestation as a Hiranyagarbha, or in terms of physical body is also my manifestation in terms of Virat, etc. That is why in a Mandukya you will find that there is no difference between Vishwa and Virat, no difference between Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha. Atma's Dvitiya, second pada. Atma's, because we are studying right now. So Atma's first pada, first quarter is what? Okay, I am Vishwa. Means time being Atma, I am a waker. No, you are Virat also. Right there, it is said. So no division between Vishwa and Virat. No division between Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha. No division between Prajna and Ishvara. Ultimately, you are Turiya. You are what you are, limitless consciousness. But this all is your manifestation. That is how, Vamana has become, in 3 steps, it covered everything. Do you know that? Vamana covered in these 3 steps as a Vaikara and Virat, Tejasa and Hiranyagarbha, Prajna and Ishvara. Everything is covered. Everything is covered. That is needed. Not just consciousness. It's fine. That's good. But that wholeness doesn't come. Wholeness doesn't come. The subject object division basically is just a perceptual, and there is really no subject object division. That doesn't become because as you interact with the person, you say, well, he is different, his body is different, his senses are different, his knowledge is different. He's another conscious being. I am another conscious being. Conscious being is a reality, but then he is a different conscious being. I'm different conscious being. That doesn't go. Would you follow? Therefore, this has been introduced. Sarvatma bhavam darshayati. So karmafala bhokta also is Ishvara. Karmafala data also is Ishvara. And bhoga also is sustained. Very bhoga is possible due to what? Ultimately, Brahman. And therefore, yena ru shabda sparsha rupam maithunan pratyan vijanati. So sukha dukkha, all bhoga also is sustained by the same Ishvara. Karmadiksa is Ishvara, Karta is Ishvara, and that Ishvara. Samaji, Karta is Ishvara. Look at that. If Karta is Ishvara, Ishvara is a Karta. Oh, that's a wrong thing. Could you follow what I'm saying? Because this is at a different level of manifestation. It is not of the same order of reality as the Brahman is. Could you follow? Therefore, but you just don't dismiss that. You experience it, you account for it. That's how Pujya Swamiji used to always say, you cannot bypass Ishvara. If you remember, you might have heard, I don't know, you cannot bypass Ishvara and gain moksha. Because day in and out, you are in this, in the midst of Ishvara, Jagat. And you have to deal with this. So you have to account it properly. You have to understand it properly, and that will resolve a lot of issues also that we are not going into. So that Ishvara basically, Karma Diksha is Ishvara, Karta is Ishvara, Bhokta is Ishvara. Ishvara is not Bhokta, understand? Could you follow? Ishvara means what? Pratyagatma, I'm talking. Could you follow? So therefore, that is why in Nididhyasanam, Chidananda Rupaha, it should say only Chidananda Rupa. No, I am Shiva, means I am the Jagat, cause of the Jagat. I am Ishvara, that's fine. Anyway, so I am content of everything. But Swamiji, I would like to know how these forms have come about. That's a Ishvara's Upadhi, okay? That much is a difference. But you are the content, the truth of everything. Why, Swamiji, these 5 elements have come? and how these elementals have come. All this is Maya, unmanifest. That's there. But the basis of the Maya also is Brahman, which is you are. And therefore, the, the content of entire all names and forms, manifest names and forms, is you or Ishvara, you can say very well. Could you follow what I'm saying? All names and forms. You say, how, why these names and forms? Why these names and forms? Well, these names and forms is a upadhi of Ishvara, that is Maya, which was there as unmanifest, that manifest. And Ishvara being a Brahman, definitely is the reality behind the entire Jagat. That Brahman happens to be the Pratyagatma. Therefore, I lend reality to everything. I am the content of everything. I am the self of everything. This is how you have to understand. So that, but you said something, you are the cause of the creation. That's what it is. If you lend reality, you lend existence to the entire names and forms. Without just names and forms, if you take, that is Upadhi of Ishvara. But then the reality behind the names and forms, the very existence and their objectification is all due to basically Brahman, that is me. We follow? And thereby I can say I am the definition of cause is this. One which gives an existence to the effect. And therefore, basically, Karyam is Karanam only. Sarvasya Karanam Brahma, Karyam api Brahma. Right? Whatever is created out of clay is what? Clay. So the pot name form also is ultimately what? Clay. So karyasya karanatva, sarvasya karanatvat, sarvatma bhavati. Just as the clay is the atma, the self of all earthenware, earthen world, or gold is the karana for the all world of the jewelry, same way. So, and that gold happens to be, gold basically is upadana karanam, adhishthanam, lends existence to all those, pervades all the names and forms. So, in and through all the forms, all over the forms, right? Yet it is independent of any given name and form, transcend any name and form, right? In terms of reality. Forms do not, they are non-separate from this karan. Any jewelry, I mean. But the cause, I mean, the gold is basically is independent of that. In transcend, transcend means transcend in terms of reality. Gold, in order to be a gold in order to be a gold is not dependent upon any bangle, etc. Without any name and form, it can exist. But no name and form can exist independent of gold. That way. So gold can say, I am the content of all the jewelries, whatever in the safe and these and outside exhibition, all, not just in one shop. If a ornament knows that I am in and out is basically gold, that's my reality. All over is gold, that is my reality. And name and form is just incidental to me, right? Just incidental. If you melt it and make something else, it's just incidental. And therefore, basically, I am gold. Once it said I am gold, it has become the Atma of all the names and forms in the world. And not that. Once he says I'm gold, it has identified with all the ores also of the gold. Right? I am in the form of ore. I am in the form of jewelries. I am in the form of a pure gold, in the form of biscuits, this, that. I am Sarvatma. Could you follow? Exactly like this. Exactly like this. This is how we have to understand. And that Sarvatma, Puja Swami used to always gives you moksha. Moksha? Yeah. Why moksha? Freedom from anything, any nuisance, freedom from any nuisance born of sense of duality. All freedom from mortality, freedom from void, freedom from isolation, freedom from rejection. My God, it's a huge issue. People commit suicide, intelligent being who have actors and whatnot. They this is commit suicide. They have gained money and they gain fame and whatnot they have gained. And they might have I mean, very intelligent, very skillful people. It's not that all people come out in the world and shine just because some influence. No. They themselves have certain stuff. All that is there in spite of that. At the age of 25, 27, 30, 35, people commit suicide. Every year you find several people who are known in the given field for some reason, certain emotional issues, certain emotional issues that is that is rooted in that sense of duality or sense of individuality. Sense of individuality gives sense of duality. If I am this, automatically everyone is different. And so has created, he has cheated me. I had a breakup with so and so, something like that. So all these issues. Could you follow? Therefore, freedom, moksha means basically that sense of there is another thing that should go from your mind. There is another thing that should go. If that goes away, then only. So at one place, I think in Taittiriya, while explaining Taittiriya Bhashyam, Puja Swamiji said that I'm just consciousness, 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 consciousness. I'm limitless consciousness, limitless consciousness. Nothing happens. Sarvatma Bhava should come, which means you are the self of everything, and therefore there is no really second thing. Yeah. And that is beautifully so that you are in the form of Hiranyagarbha. You are in the form of manifestation, various levels of manifestation. You are in the form of Virat, which is going to be told even later. Later means just after two mantras. For these three mantras, 6, 7, 8, we'll talk about Hiranyagarbha. You are in the form of Hiranyagarbha, etc. For that, they say from Brahman, Hiranyagarbha is born. But who is that Brahman? I am that Brahman. Could you follow? Therefore, I am in the form of Hiranyagarbha. Like that, it is. Anyway. So it of course it is a very big jump, but this Sarvatma from Pratyagatma Sakshi. That's what my point was. From the just Sakshi, witness consciousness. I don't do anything. I'm a self-shining consciousness, self-revealing consciousness obtained in the buddhi. And then in a buddhi, even the I thought, ahankara, or the idam thought, this thought, all basically are soaked in I, the consciousness. They are not separate from me. And they keep changing. But I, which illumines all of them, which lends existence to them, is non-changing, invariable, present. Therefore, with respect to those things, those thoughts in the mind, with respect to the mind, well, which is called witnessed by me, I am called witness consciousness. But that witness consciousness is the self of everything. For that, you have to pull the other definition of Brahman, and that is Brahman is Jagat Karanam. So we have two definitions of Brahman. One is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, by which you can very well say easily that I am Brahman because I am the Satyam, I am the very Satchid Ananda, you can say. I am the invariable factor, non-negatable factor. How can you say non-negatable, invariable, non-changing? That's what your experience is. I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the deep sleeper. Waker goes, they are all mutually exclusive, but still this I is there, which pervades all the three states of experience, without which even waker is not possible, dreamer is not possible, etc. And therefore, I am the one who is a non-changing principle behind all three states of experience. I don't go, I don't come. I am ever present, Satyam. And in the form of what? Consciousness, Jnanam. And well, I being distinct from the mind, body, and senses, etc., separate, I am distinct from even Ahankara, etc. Well, I'm not an individual. I'm not a limited being. I'm not a small being. I'm Anantam. I'm limitless. Fine. That's so you understood. But that is perhaps just think that has the sense of the sense of the duality in your head. Yet there is another has not gone. Another conscious being, another consciousness has not yet gone, even though you say limitless. And you can understand very well logically in terms of a intellectual approach, a limitless thing cannot be more than one. Therefore, well, I am the consciousness obtaining in everyone. But no, You should see that you are the self of all. Therefore, there is really not two selves. He is different. I am different. No, I'm putting hand here. Don't think that way. Okay. So let me do here now. Okay. So, because generally to say like to the any women, it's not fair. That's the reason he is sitting in between. So male members. Therefore, I'm doing like that. Anyway, so my point is, so you should know you are the self of all. You are the content of all. And therefore, you are not just self of this body, mind, sense. Probably you are the self of everything. And that once you understand that there is no other I, there is no other I, unequal I or equal I, both. Unequal I means I am a conscious being, everything is inert, unequal. No. There is another equal I am a conscious being, he is another conscious being. Still, fear will not go. Fear will go, there is only one I. There is no second I. Yeah. Then only that there is a other, that thing will go away. That will give you a freedom from fear. Abhaya praptatvat. Already we have seen in the morning. So I'm telling again and again, it has been brilliantly explained by Pujya Swamiji. Why two definitions of Brahman which are really, we could not combine together, because satyam jnanam anantam brahma means which is which is which doesn't have a which is distinct from karyam and karanam. And the other definition is yatova imani bhutani jayanti yena jatani jivanti yat pranti abhisamvishanti tad brahma in Bhruguvalli. And here in Brahmanandvalli also tasmad vai tasmad atmanah akasha sambhutah. Brahman has been shown as a karana. Satyam Gnanam Anantam says Brahman is distinct from Karya Karana. Even in fact, that's what Nachiketa asked. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat kruta krutat. Anyat. Kruta krutat anyat. Krutam means karyam. Akrutam means karanam. Which is anyat, distinct from karya and karana. Yeah. And therefore, basically, so two definitions talk entirely different thing of same Brahman, same Vastu. It has to be properly, properly given a place. And that place, of course, has been given in a Brahma Sutra by Vyasacharya ji. But Puja Swamiji explained independently. And I came across. And so I thought I will share with you that it is very important to know that Pratyagatma is the cause of the world. I am the cause of the world, content of all, self of all. So there is no I, other I. That gives you then you get rid of this the sense of duality. There is another, that kind of a notion goes away. That will give you freedom from fear. So this is how he explained beautifully. Anyway, so anything born of Brahman is Brahman. And so Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadeyam Mrittika Ityeva Satyam. Mrittika is Satyam, right? And but then Swamiji, of course, definition is there. But suppose someone wants to pick up from Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma, that Brahman is a cause of the world. How can you, you are saying both the definition has to be properly understood. They should be combined properly. How can we combine? Well, this is the entry. This is a vision of the Shruti that an effect is not separate from the cause. Why? Being an effect. Being an effect, it is never separate from the cause. And generally, it is material cause. And they're very beautifully said that Mrittika, the clay which is the cause of the entire creation, right, is Satyam. Mrittika ityeva Satyam. Karyam is what? Vacharmanam. Nowhere mithya word comes. That is that. Nowhere in Upanishad. But Karyam is Vacharmanam. Well, the Karyam, the effect, is basically is existence of the effect is in the tongue. Yeah. Means what? When I say pot, which is the effect of the cause, clay, then pot should have existence. Like clay, when I utter a word, clay is there, right? So when I utter word pot, pot should be there. Check there whether there is pot or not. It's clay only. Therefore, the word pot has no corresponding object in the objective creation. Means as an object, I cannot show. Wherever I'm doing that a finger, it's again or it is a clay only. Because effect being non-separate from the cause. Right? Therefore, the effect, right, has only existence. Where? In the words. Verbal existence, not objective existence. Not existent as object, as an object. Thereby we can say the karyam is mithya. Could you follow? So this is how Brahman being the cause of everything, then the entire Jagat, various names and forms which have manifested from the Brahman, they are also mithya. And Brahman is satyam. But that word satyam for mrittika, and thereby it is the cause we have understood. Same way that satyam word is here, where satyam jnanam anantam brahma. So Brahman is satyam. There must be the cause. Why? Mrittika is satyam. It is a cause of the earthen world, which has been told in the Chandogya. Right? For the cause, word satyam is used there, where by giving example in Chandogya Upanishad. And that word satyam you find here also. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That Satyam is there. Therefore, Brahman also will be the cause for like the clay. Brahman also will be the cause for what? Being Brahman cause of everything, not one part. Okay. So Brahman being why? But how can you say Anantam? Huh. It's a cause ultimately, well, which is a cause for including space. If Brahman is Anantam, Satyam Anantam, then it should be the cause of everything. It should pervade everything, being Anantam. Satyam indicates cause, and Anantam indicates it is a cause of everything, including space. And that you find again, Tasmad Vayu, Tasmad Atmana, Akasha Sambhuta, Akashat Vayu. Could you follow? So both these definitions have been, there is no contradiction there. Beautifully, Bhashakara in Brahma Sutra explains, Vyasacharya ji has made Sutra, and Puja Swamiji also explained that. Anyway. So anyway, ultimately, Brahman is a Brahman being Brahman. It's not just material cause. So Brahman is just a material. And there is another conscious being who shaped this material into various parts. These all various parts. No. Brahman is the material cause. Brahman is the secondary cause. Brahman is the efficient cause, etc. And therefore, the whole thing is Brahman. And therefore, yatyat karyam, all that is you see here, experience every day, including your body, mind, sense complex, well, is Brahman, right? And all that you experience is Brahman. Brahman happens to be the Pratyagatma. Therefore, all that you experience here is yourself. There is no another being, another subject. Yeah, I am subject, that is object. We have seen that. Bhayamadhyastham, right? That's a that's a that's a cause for the fear. So anyway, here Shruti talks about even devatas also, because now Hiranyagarbha is introduced, so all devatas also. So not only individual jivas are Brahman, even Hiranyagarbha is Brahman. And Hiranyagarbha is nothing but the aggregate of all devatas. Yeah. So that for, and all devatas means what? They all devatas obtained in this sense organs as Adhishthana devata. That why do you call it devata? You should call it as a ahankara only, because what obtains here is the seer. What obtains is the hearer. That is me. No, 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 no. What obtains is the seer. Seer is none other than Hiranyagarbha. We have already seen that. I just told you. How can you say seer is a Hiranyagarbha? Hey, the very seeing takes, the very eye, etc., is a manifestation of Ishvara. The law by which the eyes are able to see is also the sensory power, etc., is a common law, is a manifestation at a samashti level. It is not a manifestation just here in this body. Otherwise, say, I am seer. But I am uh, behind the seer, there is a manifestation at a samashti level. Therefore, it is manifestation of samashti means manifestation of Ishvara, manifestation of Brahman ultimately, but in form of Hiranyagarbha. So same Hiranyagarbha obtains in all the eyes. Same Ishvara obtains in all the eyes, because of which this intelligent function is possible, in form of seer, etc. Well, that is a Adhishthana Devata. And then you combine others. And there are all Tattvod Devatas, okay? There are Tattvod Devatas. I am not going into that. So then there are for ears, and then for a mind, and for Buddhi. Right? For Ahankara, Rudra Devata, and for mind, there is a Chandrama Devata, and for Buddhi, there is a Vishnu, or I think. And for this, I forgot. Ashwini Kumar for this, etc. Agni Devata for the Vak, etc. So anyway, and so that is not manifestation at one individual. Then you can say, I am seer. It's a manifestation at the samashti. And therefore, Adhishthana Devata itself indicates it is a manifestation of the samashti. All those Adhishthana Devata ultimately is a manifestation of Hiranyagarbha. Because from Hiranyagarbha, all the elements came subtle, right? And then sense organs and everything came. And Hiranyagarbha being Brahman, well, that manifests into those sense organs, making them sentient and experience various Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. Could you follow? Therefore, what obtains as a seer is none other than what? Hiranyagarbha. Then Swamiji, where am I? That's what the issue is. Could you follow? There is no I mean, once you see the Ishvara like that, Ahankara is poo 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 poo. Poo poo. There is no entity called Ahankara. Just whatever is Ishvara is there, and you claim as yourself. That's it. All that is there is Ishvara. Due to ignorance, you claim I am that, I am that. When you say I am body, you just think. When you say I am body, do you think you own this body? No, you don't. No, no, this is my body. Don't touch me. Look at that. Itself is a confusion. I don't want to go into that. Once you say this is my body, and once you say I am body, these two cannot go together. What is mine cannot be I. What is I cannot be mine. You say my home, and then some other day say I am the home. What is this? But you use this expression for the body itself indicates there is a confusion. Subject-object confusion. Your house is, of course, still it is an object. You are conscious of it. It is in your possession, that's a different thing. But you are not the house. But you definitely use for the body, for the mind also. My mind is agitated. Sometimes you say, I am agitated. Confusion, galore. So that's how they say there is subject-object error. And then there are other experiences also. But anyway. So here, I mean, individual, not Jiva, but Hiranyagarbha also, and other Adhishthana Devatas, through Hiranyagarbha, all Adhishthana Devatas, all manifestation, which also obtains in every body, Adhishthana Devata, because of which all functions are possible. Sensory organs function, minds function, organs of action function, the pranas function. Pranas also have a Devata. Ah. Samanabhava has a Devata, and all. Digestive fire has a Devata, etc. Everything has a Devata. Because intelligent manifestation. Intelligent manifestation means there is a conscious being behind that. That conscious being cannot be away from that, because that conscious being is the efficient cause, and that is the material cause. So the maker and material being one, that law itself is the Ishvara. Right? That law by which you see the eyes, that law by which you see the ears, which is a manifestation at the total level. Therefore, it's Ishvara's manifestation. And so now Brahman with this kind of manifestation, we call it is Hiranyagarbha. Could you follow? All that is there is just knowledge, 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 knowledge. That's how. Right? You with your knowledge becomes the cause for the entire dream world. Even before you create all the names and forms, as though you invoke your knowledge. Right? Yeah. As you invoke your knowledge, you are now all knowing consciousness. All knowing consciousness. Dekar consciousness. All knowing. All knowing is whatever in your mind. Right? So you are with your knowledge ready to manifest as space, dream time, dream objects. And that is how all that is there in your dream world is nothing but your knowledge. plus you. Your knowledge is not away from you. So all those names and forms, the existence in names and forms, and they shine in those names and forms shine. Well, definitely in the consciousness that is you, waker consciousness, which alone lends existence to the entire dream world. This is what called tapas. Tapas means this knowledge. Brahmanaha tapas. Brahman has so deliberated. Yeah. Brahman has invoked his knowledge. That is very beautifully said. He not here in Mundaka Upanishad. You can read there. Tapasa chiyate brahma. Yasya jnanamayam tapaha, etc. What is this tapas? Jnanamayam. This jnanam, right? Swamiji, you said Maya. Same thing. Brahman with all knowledge for this creation is ready to manifest in the form of this all knowledge. Therefore, every name and every form, if you start analyzing, you can create hundreds of PhDs, hundreds of. Just take one atom, one gene, one protein molecule. My God, what molecular biology and this one, this genetics and this and so much. And one who, this is another thing. This is also experience. Whenever whenever between you and anything in the creation which is a manifestation of Ishvara's knowledge, when between you and any form which is Ishvara, well, what is the distance? Ignorance, right? It's the ignorance only. When that goes away, you are in hotline with Ishvara. Therefore, you become Archimedes. You become Archimedes. Eureka, Eureka, Eureka. We never realize that I have not taken any pizza, etc. Why should I get joy at this moment? Just you get certain clarity with respect to a form. You get certain knowledge. The ajnanam, which is like a curtain between you and Ishvara, is dropped momentarily. By momentarily, ajnanam with respect to all things are still there, but with respect to this goes away, and you become happy. You become happy. You are in harmony with the Ishvara. You are in harmony with the Ishvara. Subject object alignment. You are the knower, and that's object which you want to know, and you know. Suppose the ignorance pertaining to that avarana just goes away, and you experience joy. Wherever there is, same way, there is another manifestation. Another order is dharma. Whenever you do something right, even though you are toiled, in fact, perhaps you might have been hungry also, maybe thirsty also. But suppose you are engaged in something which is helping to the people do in India, some kind of a natural calamity is there, like an earthquake and other things, or a tsunami. People, they don't see their health, their hunger, thirst. They keep doing and doing and doing. Tired, in fact. But somehow there is a great satisfaction inside. There is some kind of a joy. That is the person who has a total self-acceptance at that moment. So when you are in alignment with Ishvara in form of dharma, again joy. Where you are in alignment with Ishvara who is in the form of knowledge. Like what? Like your manifestation of your knowledge in dream. Right? So someone who is, suppose, doing a research in dream, suppose, doing a research, and he gains the knowledge. And then he is in alignment with what? Whom? You, the Ishvara. He will have a what? Joy. What if in dream? I'm just saying that. Same thing. Same thing. We think that the joy comes only from through the sense objects and contact between sense organs and sense objects. No. And these are the better qualities of joy. Perhaps a little sustaining joy compared to the sense object, because there you get satisfied within no time. But these are the joys which is a lasting joy. Then there are certain aesthetic joys also. Anyway, so this is there are three forms of pleasure. One is that sensory pleasure, there is an intellectual pleasure. When you solve certain puzzles and all that, and even you gain this knowledge, etc., through in your intellect, there also you gain joy. And then there are aesthetic. You develop a certain finer right, likes and dislikes, and you are able to appreciate certain finer things. And gaining that finer perception, you get a joy. Like the people, I am also in a that sadas kacheri they call in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai. I used to go in those days with somebody, Yeah, chalo, so okay. All halls in Chennai are full in that December. All halls. And we used to go everywhere present. The person who takes me, he has finer knowledge. Means he could appreciate in very subtle aspect. And I go along with him. Within 15, 20 minutes, I always used to see, means looking at the other person, means, shall we go now? And that person is Brahmananda. He's, he just look at that aesthetic pleasure, a certain infrastructure to enjoy a subtle aspect. The other person, like me, grossness, just grossness, nothing else. Yeah. People develop a finer taste of coffees and all. Samaji, what coffee do you like? If you ask me, I said, just give me coffee. That's it. No, I'm asking you, Samaji. I have several types of coffee. I'm telling you, give me coffee. But the other person, no, you give me this particular coffee with this much milk and this and that, and also decoction, this, that. My God, a finer. Of course, it can, person becomes too sensitive and get hurt also. But a certain infrastructure is there, which gives a lasting joy, subtle joy. Subtler the joy, well, it will last little longer. Grosser the joy, well, I mean, through gross objects, well, it will last not too long. Yeah. So that's called aesthetic pleasures. People develop in colors also. One person asked me, Swamiji, which blue color do you want for your, I mean, as a paint in your room? I said, the blue color I like. He said, but which blue color? And he started narrating to me, patent blue, this blue, that blue, that blue. And I said, I just don't know. This is blue color. He said, there are 1,000 shades, he said. He showed me. He came with a computer and that laptop, and he showed me. Look at that, 1,000 shades of blue. And he said, I like this blue and this and this. I said, I just don't know. Yeah, you can appreciate in a subtle aspect, and that appreciation gives a joy. Definitely give a joy. Yes. But very few people are very lucky for this. All I would say, all the artists have this kind of a joy. Same. Whether Kacheri will be there, suppose that given person gives program today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, throughout the December month, he enjoys every day. He enjoys, literally he enjoys. We feel one day is enough. And that too, half an hour in a one day is enough. As he start doing alapa start, or that person keeps and listen to that, and then tabla also he listen. I said, what is he doing? You start now. Hmm. It's a anyway. My point is, Ishvara is knowledge. Is basically in the form of this Hiranyagarbhas, in the form of further Virat, etc. In manifestation. So Brahmanaha tapas, through the tapas of the Brahman, Parmeshwara, Hiranyagarbha is born, means that tapas is nothing but the jnanam. So Ishvara has invoked his knowledge. Ishvara basically, as though he is recollecting. This has been this way it has been discussed in a Mundaka Upanishad. He recollects that how the last creation was, etc. Accordingly, I have to create now. What are the karmas of the jivas? Because now jivas have all become unmanifest. They have gone to a deep sleep for a long time. Now, what are the karmas which I have to, through which I have to give them subtle bodies, gross bodies? All this is called tapas. Would you follow? So Brahman, along with this knowledge of the creation, as though he invoked his knowledge of the creation in a pralaya, and that is called, well, who is born? Hiranyagarbha. Still, elements are not yet born, but with this knowledge, this Brahman is called Hiranyagarbha. And then manifestation of subtle elements, etc. Anyway, so yaha purvam ajayata, one was born who is in the form of a sukshma prapancha. It also, that sukshma prapancha obtains in this body, my body also, as a sukshma sharira, right? Sukshma sharira can never be away from sukshma prapancha. Vyashti can never be away from samashti. And that is ultimately what? That sukshma prapancha which obtains in the form of a sukshma sharira is also ultimately what? Brahman alone, right? So Guham Pravishya, and then he talks about this Guham Pravishya, it obtains, then that same Brahman in the form of a Hiranyagarbha obtains in this buddhi as the very seer, etc. And through the sense organs, which are also manifestation of same Parmeshwara, through sense organs, he becomes seer and etc. Therefore, there is no real ahankara independent of Parmeshwara. Parmeshwara's manifestation alone through Hiranyagarbha in the form of these jivas. There is no jiva independent of Brahman. That is a mithyatvam of the jiva. So anything born of Brahman is ultimately Brahman. So not only Ishvara is Brahman, well, basically you are also Brahman. That we have seen. And this Jagat is, of course, Panchabhuta, body is born of elements, all are Brahman. So Yaha Purvam Tapasah Jatam. Here now you will see two. Yaha Purvam Tapasah Jatam, Adbyaha Purvam Ajayata. There are two Purvams. First Purvam has a meaning of foremost, the very first. So Yaha Purvam Tapasah Jatam. Tapasah, from tapas, of what? Brahman. So we have to supply Brahmanaha tapas, tapasah, Puram ajayat, Prathamam ajayat. That Puram means Prathamam. And second Puram means before. Adbyaha Purvam. Adbyaha means before waters are born, Hiranyagarbha is born. Before waters means before elements. Could you follow? So a second Purvam means before. First Purvam means the foremost. The firstborn will be Hiranyagarbha from Brahman. And that is nothing but Brahman with his knowledge, which is non-separate from him. Right? Brahman with this knowledge. So same Maya, the manifestation of Maya in form of all knowledge now. Basically all this you see here is knowledge. Anything you pick up knowledge, that is manifest names and forms. That was there in the form of what? Unmanifest, right? And that unmanifest was also will be what? Knowledge. But Brahman has as though, being efficient cause, invoked. That is only called so kamayata, bahusyam prajaya. This all is nothing but this tapas. You can say, well, he desired, let me become many and all that. This is all called tapas. And then for that, he as though recollected how was the last creation, what are the karmas, what are the karmas of the jivas and all that. So all this recollection kind of a thing, well, is called tapas ultimately. So Brahmana tapasa jatam jnanameva tapaha. Yasya jnanamayam tapaha, etc. Mundakopanishad. And so whatever is born from that Brahman, that is Hiranyagarbha, is also Brahman. So that's how, because anything born from the Karana is Karana. Any Karyam which is born from the Karana is Karana only. So Adbyaha Purvam Ajayata Apsahitebhyaha Ajayata. So let's read that. It's a very big para. We'll read first totally and then I will explain in parts, but we'll read entire thing. Yaha Kashchit Mumukshuhu Purvam Prathamam Tapasah Jnanadilakshanaat Brahmanah Iti Etajjatam Utpannam Hiranyagarbham Kim Apeksha Purvam Iti Aha Adbyah Purvam Apsahitebhyah Panchabhutebhyah न केवलाभ्यः अद्भ्यः इति अभिप्रायः अजायत उत्पन्नः प्रयस्तं प्रथमजं देवादिशरीराणि उत्पाद्य सर्वपराप्राणिगुहां हृदयाकाशं प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तं शब्दादीन् उपलभमानं भूतेभिः भूतैः कार्यकरणलक्षणैः सह तिष्ठन्तं यः व्यपश्यत यः पश्यति इति एतत् यः एवं पश्यति सः एतद् एव पश्यति यत्तत् प्रकृतं ब्रह्म. So this is a basic sentence. Yah kashin mumukshuhu, right? And then you will see in the last but one line, pashyati. So yaha vyapashyata, yaha kashin mumukshuhu, vyapashyata, pashyati. I mean, pashyati means here, in this manner, if any seeker knows the self, which is Brahman, is none other than this Hiranyagarbha, the self of all, well, that alone really sees. Yeah, so, yaha evam pashyati, sat etadeva pashyati. And that is what? Yattat prakrutam Brahma. Prakrutam Brahma. The Brahman which is under discussion now, that's called Prakrutam. That Brahman alone appears in the form of Hiranyagarbha and alone appears in the form of all Ahankaras and alone appears in the form of Buddhi, alone appears in the form of the bodies and everything. Right now we are confining ourselves to the Sukshma Prapancha, but ultimately body also will be included as a Virat. So this has been said here. Hmm. Now just see. यह कश्चिन मुमुक्षुः पूर्वं प्रथमं तपसः ज्ञानादि लक्षणात् ब्रह्मणः. I already explained you this. इति एतत् जातम् उत्पन्नं हिरण्यगर्भं. Suppose a seeker, कश्चिन मुमुक्षुः, हिरण्यगर्भं, knows that hiranyagarbha, well, what? Jatam utpannam is the one who is born, purvam, prathamam, as the first and foremost from Brahman. How? Well, tapasaha. So, prathamam tapasaha, tapasaha jatam. So, tapasaha means from the tapas of that Brahman, from the knowledge of that Brahman. And what? Jnana, and what is the tapasa? I already said by Bhashakara, Jnanadi Lakshanat, which is in the form of characterized by the Jnanam, Jnanam of the entire creation, right? Therefore, even this, you can see this very well. Like suppose I would like to make a house. I have certain land and I want to make a very beautiful house. I don't want to purchase a new house, ready house, because have a certain want to have in my own way. I would like to see that. So you will call a architect, and architect will definitely, he invokes his knowledge of architecture before the creation of this, the plan for the whole thing. He will definitely call his own knowledge and will create this plan, and accordingly then ultimately that plan is called subtle sukshma prapancha. And the real house which is created will be, you just think that way, it's a gross prapancha, sthula prapancha. But ultimately it is again born from what? I, the one, the conscious being who has invoked his knowledge, right? That's called tapas. You contemplate upon thing, you deliberate upon that thing, and you will have a desire also. Naturally, as a conscious being, you have a desire to create that plan now, and that requires a mood also. He told you that please give me a plan, etc. That I and but you said, "Ah, okay, I will do it tomorrow." And then you fine morning, you drink a coffee, and then you sit and you invoke your knowledge. Could you follow? Knowledge is there with you, but now you invoke. That is you, the conscious being, along with the knowledge. That's called Hiranyagarbha. And that Hiranyagarbha, from that Sukshma Prapancha will come. From there, gross Prapancha come. Ah, what an example. Anyway, it is just like that. I'm just saying. So yah kashin mumukshu purvam pratamam tapasa jnanadi lakshanat. And tapasa from of whom? Brahmana, naturally, Brahman. There is knowledge which is non-separate from that Brahman. Iti etat jatam utpannam hiranyagarbham. Up to this. Then next para we'll understand. So this is how in portions we understand. Kim apeksha purvam. And well, what is meant by this what is meant by this word purvam? That another purvam. Now, one purvam has been explained as prathamam. Now another purvam. What is meant by this before? Another purvam. Before means what? Before what? Well, then it says kim apeksha purvam. Then it says adbhya purvam. So, well, it is even born before the origin of waters. This is what we call upalakshana. Upalakshana means the word is uttered, you will also call all the members of his family also are pulled. So adbhya means water is an element. Then you also call. It is not mentioned, but you will call all of them, all the five, all four, rest of the four. That's called upalakshana. So basically, you take into account, you add the members of the same family along with the meaning of this particular word. That's called upalakshana. Sometimes they write like this, shabdadin, shabdadin, sound, etc. Then you have to call all the sense objects other than that. Could you follow? That's called upalakshana. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasagandha, etc. So adbhya purvam iti abhipraya. This is the intention of the Shruti, that all you take into account all, even though Shruti mentions adbhya purvam ajayata, but you take it all elements. So na kevala abhya adbhya. Not merely waters, just waters. From before waters are created, because this why waters, Swamiji is saying, because it's a plural. Apaha is a plural word. And it is nitya bahuvachananta. There is no ekvachanam of this. So apaha, apaha, adbhya, adbhihi, sorry, adbhihi, adbhya, adbhya, and then apam, apsu. These are the only forms. Column, bahuvachanam, etc. So, apsahitebhya, panchabhutebhya. So all this we should take all the panchamahabhutas along with the waters. And means Hiranyagarbha was born even before before the before the creation of all the elements, origin of the five elements. Anyway, then what? Ajayata. So Hiranyagarbha. Then Hiranyagarbha Ajayata. It is born, and then Ajayata Utpannaha Yaha Tam. Ajayata is in Shruti. You see there. Adbhya Purvam Ajayata. So before the waters were born, right? Yaha ajayata. Yaha means what? Hiranyagarbha is born. Ajayata. Utpannaha. And yaha tam prathamajam. And that Hiranyagarbha, devadi sharirani utpadya. Well, being a nimitta karana. See, conscious being identified with his knowledge becomes a nimitta karana. He has a desire, he has a skill, he has a knowledge to create. That's a nimitta karana. And itself is a material here, of course, that's a different thing, but this is nimitta karana. So here, devadi sharirani utpadya, having created, being nimitta karana, according to previous cycles and various karmas, in keeping with the laws of karma, well, utpadya having created what? Devadi sharirani, all the bodies. Devadi, again, see, devas and manushyas and all four types. Jarayuja, Andaja, then Svedaja, and what is the fourth one? Udbija, right? All various bodies are there. All bodies he created. And then what? After creating everything, what he did? So, Utpadya Sarva Prani Guham Hridayakasham Pravishya. Look at that. After creating, he dived into them. He jumped into them. And Basically, he obtains in every sharira. In a buddhi guha, he is going to say Hridaya Akasham is in the intellect. Pravishya Sarvaprani Guham means that is Hridaya Akasham Pravishya Tishthantam. He is obtained there. He is obtained there in the all the buddhis in the guha, in the cave of the hearts they call. In the buddhi it is obtained, and in buddhi it is obtained as a taijasa, ahankara. अनेन आत्मना अनु अनेन आत्मना जीवेन अनुप्रविश्य नाम रूपे व्याकरवाणी इति छंदोग्य अनेन आत्मना जीवेन आत्मना अनेन जीवेन आत्मना अनुप्रविश्य नाम रूपे व्याकरवाणी etc. So as he is obtained as a consciousness, definitely he is obtained in every buddhi gufa. He created everything. Of course, he is in the form of creation, but having created everything, while he is obtained in every prani, every sentient being in the form, because this is subtle bodies, right? And definitely, so all sentient beings we have to take right now, and that is all sukshma shariras, etc., created. Of course, the sukshma sharira cannot function without gross body, but we have to take it. You have to take it as it is. Hiranyagarbha only is manifestation. Virat only is a manifestation of Hiranyagarbha. So you take it that buddhi guha, well, it is obtained, Swamiji, but buddhi, only buddhi is there, then manifestation of I can be there. No, it cannot be. So bodies, you have to take it. So that's how it is said. Devadi sharirani utpadya. It is said. Sarva prani gruham hridayakasham pravishya tishtantam. And then what? Shabdadin upalabhamanam. Upalabhamanam, see, he experiences. What? Shabdadin. As a Tejas, as a Hiranyagarbha, as a seer, hearer, etc. Well, Shabdadin upalabhamanam. Bhutaihi karyakarana lakshane saha tishtantam. And this Shabdadin upalabhamanam and yaha bhutaihi karyakarana lakshana bhutaihi vyapashyata means he obtains along with these bhutas now. Hiranyagarbha was born without, at that time bhutas were not there. Now along with the bhutas means along with the elements and elementals, now he's obtained in this body. He's obtained as a individual. So what is obtained as an individual jiva is none other than what? Hiranyagarbha alone. That Hiranyagarbha is born again. It is also Karya. Then we will have to go to Karana, because Karya is non-separate from the Karana. Karana alone appears as the Karya. Therefore, that Hiranyagarbha is what? Brahman. And that Brahman is what? That I don't know. What is that? Therefore, all the bodies, all the subtle bodies, what obtained in the subtle body is Ahankara, as a seer, hearer, etc. And experiences Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasagandha is who? You. Could you follow? You. You are Sarvatma. This is another form of meditation. Okay. We are going to do, but what we are going to do is that I am not Vishwa, I am Virat also. That meditation we are going to do in 1 or 2 days. First, let's make a ground. I am indivisible consciousness. Indivisible means whole consciousness. Then Vishwa and Virat are my manifestation will be clear. So I am doing that right now. And then I am Aham Nityaha, Asangaha, etc. Also will do Aham Anandaha. We have some few days, right, still. So we'll do that. But this is how the whole picture is. Yeah. Whole picture is like this, that you are the self-aware. There is nothing other than you. Could you follow? So you are non-dual self. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.